I have been drawing since I was in the first grade. From there, it kind of progressed. I went from sketching animals, selling my artwork for V-Bucks, into wanting to become a comic book writer, and then just a storyteller in general. I was interested in poetry for a little bit. And then I kind of like interested in the music scene, but didn't really know how to do it. Um, but yeah, for a while and still now, me and my friends, we come together every so often, like 2, 3 times out of the year, and we eat together, we worship together, we write together, we fellowship with one another, and it's very impactful for me, because I think a piece of what I love about art is the fellowship aspect of it, not necessarily art alone. I not in the view of like isolation, but like what can art do when we come together? And I think when we fellowship as artists, I think magic happens. And so I'm addicted to that, to the community aspect of of the art world. Yeah, so I think the first night of me had this idea of like, okay, let me gather my friends and let's just worship together. Like, I didn't know how to do it, but I was like, okay. I talked to my boss at the time, and I was like, hey, can we use the chapel at my church? Can we use the chapel to like host something small? Can I? And he gave me permission, right? I invited my friend Diamond, which is a great singer. I invited my friend Avanti, Jade, Jusemi, and Matthew. Uh, we had like someone that loved playing cajon. We had someone that loves playing keys, and we had a lot of vocalists. And so we had some songs in mind, but really it was just us having fun. It was us getting comfortable, right, and shedding off all these layers. You know what I mean? It was just us delighting with one another. I remember Matthew had a cajon, but he wanted a bongos, right? And so we literally like went through the church trying to find where they keep the bongos at, right? And we pulled out with like a whole bunch of bongos and we started playing. It was so funny. And then my friend Diamond, I remember she was nervous at the time because she didn't really sing in front of people like that. But I remember having a conversation with her pretty briefly before, and she was saying that nobody's asked me to sing before. And I was like, okay, so then if I asked you to sing, would you do it? And she's like, yeah, right? And she probably didn't think that I was actually going to do something, right? But I did, right? And I remember calling her, I was like, Diamond, I want to do this worship thing, blah, 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 you should come up. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then she did. And it was the first of many nights. The groups changed, but the vision still stayed the same. Nothing was rehearsed. It wasn't planned. It was pretty spontaneous. I think at the time, a lot of us that were there were wondering, how can we get plugged into the worship world? How can we worship, you know? And for us in the church setting, a lot of the times our view of what worship is very narrow. And we thought that when we are asked to go step on stage and worship, that's when we can worship. But I wasn't convinced that that was the only way we can worship. I'm not convinced that's the only way we can get plugged in. I was like, okay, why wait to be asked, quote unquote? You know? Why do we have to go on stage to worship? Right? Worship is not tied down to Sunday service. It's not tied down to a worship night. Worship is a posture of heart. Worship is something that the Lord has called all of us to do on the daily, the weekly, you know? So yeah, we had a very narrow view. And I think at the time, we were like, okay, I'm going against the grain. We're gonna go worship without, I mean, it's not that deep. It really isn't. It's something simple and something beautiful. When artists gather together and worship the Father, beautiful things go down. Wonderful things go down. Magic happens. Holy Spirit things. Yeah. I kind of went everywhere. Eventually, I'll have a more like straightforward explanation on my path as an artist, but it was those little moments right there that kind of like that impacted me. Because I tried to audition, I volunteered to sing and all this stuff, and I think I was looking for something that I didn't get. Like when I finally was there singing on stage, we had click tracks and everything, and you know, I'm not gonna get into all that, but there was something that I was after that I wasn't satisfied. There was just something. And I think for me, when people witness artists, that's beautiful and that's amazing. And that's a lot of the times our goals as creatives. But I think what I was after is the before. It's before that interaction with the crowd. It's the comunidad that happens beforehand. You know, it's the idea, it's the planning before, it's coming together, it's dying to yourself in hopes of something new. It's those moments that I was after. And it's those moments I strive to help cultivate in the art world. Not necessarily us as a business, us as to promote ourselves, but what does it look like for us to, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's something that's in my head right now, but I'm still trying to flesh things out. But yeah, that's a quick. I said a lot. I said almost nothing really, but hopefully I will brush it up eventually and give a more clear understanding.